Unforgettable.
Fulfilling.
Ambitious.
Incredible.
Unexpected.
Fast-paced.
Maturing.
Incredible.
Enriching.
My name is Sasha Chernyshenko. So currently I'm Associate Dean for Executive Education. To be world ranked, you need to be comprehensive. So what they did, they added additional schools, biological science, social science, and medical school, and now we are just a full comprehensive university, 34,000 students. Of course, Nanyang Business School benefits from overall being inside of comprehensive university.
In line with the design of the EDHEC's Global BBA program, the stint in France or at the EDHEC Business School was to lay the foundation for business courses and also some of the language courses that the students would take. Then when they moved to the UCLA Extension, they took some of the advanced courses in international business, entrepreneurship and innovation. So what was needed as per the leadership team of EDHEC was the finance courses, and thereafter to prepare them for international roles and career, new courses in the international marketing or international business.
I think the particularity of this program is that it's global from the outset. So it's a global BBA that is designed for students to gain a very global experience, and we're also lucky to have students who themselves often are very global. I'm very surprised and enthusiastic about the profile of our students who often speak several languages. So I would say it is for students who are global in terms of their aspirations, or are maybe sometimes already global in terms of their experience. And the program is designed to amplify that global experience by giving them exposure to the European market by being in France, but also the American market. And here in Singapore, I guess that's a perfect place and platform to learn more about Asia and the specificities of doing business in this region. Singapore is probably one of the most innovative cities in Asia and super well connected.
NTU's campus, from what I've seen in France, LA, and living in Singapore before, it's really one of its kind. So it's at the same time vast, but as well full. Honestly, there's like multiple libraries, there's 2 food halls, there's shops, banks, and even 2 giant screens that are forecasting sports and on some nights films. So it's a very, it's a very lively campus, and that has pretty much everything to offer.
There are 2 major sport facilities on campus. One is more for the athletes, and there's another one that's available for all students. There's a swimming pool, a football field, and I think there's a running field as well, so you have the opportunity to go there to exercise on your free time. As you can see behind me, there are pretty vast spaces where a lot of students study, so sometimes I like studying outdoors. Also, there's the Hive, where there are pretty big areas where we can sit in groups for group projects, and I find that pretty much anywhere you can study on campus, which is pretty nice.
In NTU, there's a lot of students from Asia, which is very interesting because if you know, Singapore is just a hub. There's people from across the world. So it's sure that here you're going to meet a lot of people and much more people from Asia. And from the few people I've interacted with so far, it's very interesting to see how you can, again, see a new culture. And this one is very different from what we see in Europe or in United States. And it's very Asian in its way, which is interesting.
Here we still have group projects, but we have to work more during classes, which is a bit more intensive when it comes to the learning experience, but we're learning differently in different places, so it's great. I am taking 3 classes and a seminar. So the first class is Investments, Analysis and Portfolio Management. My professor is Charlie Charouet. And he's teaching us a lot about Excel, and he also shows us a lot of theories and then apply it on Excel. So we have lectures and also tutorials on how to do it on Excel. And with him we had 2 projects. So first one was about the cost of capital, and now we're more focusing on investments on the second project, and the final is coming soon.
My name is Charlie Charouet. I have a first degree in mechanical engineering before I went to the States to get my MBA and a PhD in finance. Investment analysis, of course, is a basic investment to project valuation, company valuation, okay, and that have to involve the cash flow estimation, cost of capitals estimation, together with the risk assessment for the project. For management, the focus is on the investment in the financial asset. Okay. We focus on the equity, so how the manager investment fund, how to form the portfolios, how to make allocation, how to achieve the risk and performance trade-off. Okay. And together with some financial derivative that we can enhance in the investment.
My second class is International Finance with Dr. Siriwan. We learn a lot about the international finance and also the word, how we manage to, for example, do capital budgeting within companies. And it's very interesting because we have this project about a crisis and we have to analyze it, but also we learn a lot about theories on finance and how it works in real life. So it's very theoretical, but we also have a lot of application and exercises to apply those.
My name is Dr. Siriwan Chuti-Kamontam. Teaching career after I received my doctorate from the Harvard Business School. For the EDHEC program, I teach international finance. Is about managing finances of multinational companies. So this course we talk about what managers of a multinational that has business with many countries would have to worry about. And a lot of it is about managing risk.
Digital marketing is the class that I absolutely love. It's the elective that I've chose. We have the professor called Vijay Chetty. He was recognized as one of the best professors in the world a few years ago. His method is very particular. I've never had that kind of professor, and it's very good. We do have business cases as normal marketing classes, but he's able to combine both his critical point of view as well as the resources that we have to learn from the cases. So it's very useful, especially as international students, because we are able to study big MNCs abroad about how they interact with the different shareholders, how they're able to maximize the profit, and how they grow their business in general. So it's very, very interesting.
My name is Professor Vijay Sethi. I'm a professor in the Nanyang Business School in the Department of IT and Operations Management. My background and experience is a PhD in Information Systems, which I got from the US. Then we moved here to Singapore, and I've been here almost for about 25 years. Before that, started off as an undergraduate in chemical engineering, and then an MBA from the United States. The biggest award that I got was being named the Business Professor of the Year. This was by the EIU in London. This was a few years ago. The class that I teach is digital marketing, and I teach two things. One is the digital part, how does the digital world evolve, and what's technology all about. And my teaching style is all discussion oriented. I teach only through case studies mainly, and every time we have discussions in the class on cases. And also the students have to go out and research industries, and they do presentations in the class, and they've been absolutely wonderful in that particular part.
And at the end, we have cultural intelligence. It's a super fun class. That is the only class that we have with local students here in Singapore. We mingle with everyone, and it's very interesting in terms of teaching method as well, because we always have an activity, a fun activity to do. We interact a lot with the professor. We're able to participate a lot. We do have a specific Facebook group, so we could like post every week about different cultural things that we have learned from Singapore, or different things that we could brought for the class, such as like what we have learned like in France or in the US. So it is very enriching, and I think the students are the one who brings the most in the classes, and the teacher just guide us, and it's very, very nice. So the bachelor thesis is a year project. It's the end of our curriculum project. We do have to work with the company about the marketing strategy of it. So we have to prospect different companies in order to see if they have a specific topic in mind, in order for us to actually help them with the student view, the perception that we have as recent graduates or recent, current students. For the mentors, at the very beginning, we had a few of them. So we were actually able to choose which mentor we wanted to. So we have different profile, different backgrounds, and according to the project, we have to choose them.
My mentor is Julian Kela, and he helps us every week. So usually we have meetings every week on Wednesday to report to him the progress of our research. And we meet up with the company as well, and his role as a mentor is really to help us focus on how to do the analysis, for example, give us suggestion, and also be our contact when it comes to knowing what to do, and also how to write the report, for example, and how to approach the company. So it's very interesting and very helping to have a mentor like him.
You know, you can be studying global materials sitting in any country, but it doesn't give you a perspective of what the world is all about.
Having opportunities to travel means a lot, and do take these opportunities whenever one can.
It puts them a step ahead of many others who might not have had the same kind of a global platform, which I think your schools provide through learning here and studying here in NTU, and also the other travel that they do.
Utilize the opportunity. I think that would be a very, very beneficial, particularly for young students to have a head start in understanding the world around them at such a young age.
culture is a lot more different from what we experience in the US and in France.
It's a very clean city. It's one of the cleanest cities I've been to. The people are very nice. They are pretty slow walkers, which is kind of frustrating, but when you come to Singapore, the heat is it's so hot here that you understand why they walk pretty slowly.
The climate is obviously a little bit humid, but then you find that sort of harmony between that green part, that green that is also integrated in the different skyscrapers you can find everywhere in the city, and the most impressive one around downtown, and then all the traditional part that comes to the Asian culture.
It's very modern. There's a lot of buildings. You have this this city, the downtown of Singapore, but you also have this countryside aspect with forest and a lot of greenery, which was very surprising because Singapore is a city, it's a hub, and it's also nice to have this calm aspect.
Singapore is a very green city. You have a lot of parks everywhere, and this is actually astonishing. You have water absolutely everywhere. The places where you first go is the Marina Bay Sands, which is this enormous hotel that is very emblematic in Singapore. So what is very good in Singapore is that you have a lot of rooftops, so the rooftop bars, which is actually enjoyable if you want to meet friends there and drink a cocktail or something like that.
But there's also Gardens by the Bay, who looks like you were from in the movie of Avatar. You have Botanic Garden, Chinese Garden with the greenery side of Singapore.
Then you have different emblematic places such as Orchard Road, which is like the Champs-Élysées of Singapore. There are basically a lot of food courts, traditional food courts where the food is made by hand and is very traditional. And so this is really a big contrast between this legacy of the Asian culture and the booming growth of all these Asian countries such as Singapore.
I found my apartment through rentsinsingapore.sg, which is a link given by NTU to EDHEC. So I was contacted by my now landlord and roommates, and I found my apartment. It's 10 minutes away from campus, which is really practical because it's really near everything, including the MRT, so the metro network of Singapore, all the buses. I have the bus that takes me straight to campus. Life in Singapore, I'm not gonna lie, it's slightly expensive. It depends on where you are, but because all the neighborhoods around NTU, so that includes Pioneer, Boon Lay, Jurong West, it's a very family neighborhoods because you have a lot of primary and secondary schools. So it's a lot of families with rather young kids. So it's really friendly, it's really safe. All the condos have a private security, so nobody can enter the condo without being allowed to. You have to present your card and things like this. So it's really safe. You can walk around even at night. Singapore in general is really safe. At night you can, as a woman, it feels great to be able to walk around Singapore in the middle of the night around 1 to 3 a.m. and nobody's gonna come up to you and ask weird questions, you know, because it's really close to the university and they know that a lot of students and families live here. They're really careful about everything security related.
After a recruitment process, I'm now part of the peer helping program. So it's a program run by the Wellbeing Center of NTU. And basically it helps give student resources for their mental health. We create events. There is also a cozy hub here on campus, so where people can relax. There is massage chair, there is books also related to mental health and like advice to how feel better when you're stressed during exam. It's actually very fulfilling to be able to help students that needs resources like that. We can give them the number of counselor or just give them advice or just talk to them. I will be with 25 Singaporean students and local students, and I hope I will create friendships during this time, and I think it's going to be a good experience for me on the campus.
It's really exciting, so keeping the excitement even when moving to the second, third, fourth country, it's always a new experience. We're going to meet so many incredible people. Avoid staying with only the French people from the class and go see the world, meet people, talk to everyone in the street. I mean, it's only French people that don't want to talk to anyone, but in other countries, people are so excited to hear about politics, science, whatever you can talk about. So yeah, by meeting new people, joining clubs, association, it's really one of the best ways to learn about the country you stay in. So yeah, that would be the main piece of advice I would give. I joined the NTU tennis team. I was in the UCLA tennis club when I was in Los Angeles, and it was, I think, what allowed me to have such an amazing American life campus experience. Joining a club, being involved in a team, really strong team spirit. Lots of travel all around the US, which was amazing. So I decided to do the same here. So I joined the NTU tennis team, and people are amazing. I mean, we hang out a lot, we gather outside of practice, and I was able to meet so many people that I would probably never met outside of this environment. So yeah, I love, I've been playing tennis for a long time, so that this activity I knew I'd love it, but being able to meet new people thanks to that was great.
Thank you.